Hello friends, welcome to my channel Nihira Techiees, and in this video let me explain how to implement modal pop-up in Angular application using material UI components. So the component I'm going to use this MAT-DIALOG, and also I'm planning to cover the below topics. The first one is how to transfer the data to the components using this MAT-DIALOG component, and the second one is kind of reactive forms example. So I'm planning to complete the post and put request. Okay. Now let me go to my application. We can start our implementation one by one. So the first thing is we have to import the required model. So in our material UI model, the control is dialog and the model is MAT-DIALOG model. Okay, we have completed the first step. Next, let me click component. Okay, the component is created. Here we can include one h1 tag. Okay, and the directive MAT-DIALOG title. So let me save this one. And next we can have one div tag, and the directory is MAT-DIALOG content. Okay, then I'm going to have one more div tag. This is for having our buttons, and the directory name is MAT-DIALOG action. Okay, it should be actions. Okay, so we can save this one, and here let me provide like, and let me see the current output of our application. Okay, so we can use this table screen. Okay, it is kind of user information. So there I'm going to include one add button. So when I'm clicking the button, so we can open our pop-up. That's my plan. So next in our table component, we can have one button. Okay, add user, and this is the mat raised button. So color we can give primary. Okay, we have the button. Let me move this into the right side. Okay. Okay, this is somewhat fine. And the next thing is in our TS file. So in this constructor, let me inject the MAT-DIALOG. Okay. So then we can create one function, open popup. Okay. So here, this dot dialog open. So inside that we have to call our component. Okay. So our component name is popup component, and additional parameters we can include it here. So the first one is width. We can give 60%, and the height, if required, we can give some values. So let me provide 400 pixel. Okay, we can save this one, and in our add button we can bind this event. So when I'm clicking this one, see our pop-up is opened, and we have the only text, welcome to Nihira Techiees. And the next thing is we have to close this pop-up. Okay, for closing the pop-up we can write the custom function, and also we have one directive. So let me show you the both the things. So in this action side, one is close, and the next button I can give cancel. Okay, both are mat raised button, and the color we can give one, and the next one I make you like a ascent. And this closed button we can bind one event, close pop-up. Let me define this one. and here also we can have the constructor. So here I am going to inject the MAT-DIALOG ref, and our pop-up component. Okay, so in this function, so let me save this one. See the output, we have the two buttons. So when I am clicking this close button, see now our pop-up is closed. And the second option I said we can use the directive, and the directive name is MAT-DIALOG close. Okay, so that actually we can use it here. So let me save this one, and also the height we can remove. See, it is closed. Even close is working, and also our cancel. So both the buttons are working. Okay, and the second thing is transferring the data. So from our table component to our pop-up component, we can pass the data. The similar way, we can get some data from our pop-up component to our table components. Both the things we can do. So first we can pass the data from our parent component to child. So that means our table to our pop-up component. So for that, I'm going to use this data option, and in this object we can pass a number of values. So here I'm going to pass the title. Okay, user edit. So this is the value I'm passing here. And next in our pop-up component, we have to get this data. So in this constructor, okay, we can inject the MAT-DIALOG data. Let's inject MAT underscore dialog data. Next in our component, let me declare one variable, input data any, and here we can implement the hook is onInt. So in this implementation, let me take this data and we can set to our input data. Okay, so next let me bind this value in our component. So instead of the hardcode value Nihira Techiees, let me remove this one. We can use the interpolation concept. Input data, it is the object, and the parameter name is title, I believe. Yeah. So we can save this one. See the user edit. So now we are able to pass the data. The similar way, when I'm closing this button, we can pass some data to our parent component. Okay, so let me close this one. So first we can consider this function. Okay, so the function actually we have defined here. So in this close button, we can pass some data. Closed using function. So this is the text I'm passing. Next in our table component, var popup equal to, using this object, we can say after it is closed. Let me subscribe this one. So whatever data is coming, I can get in the console. See now, if I'm closing this one, see I'm getting the message closed using the function. The same time if I'm clicking this one using the directive, I'm not getting any value. So the thing is, using directive also we can pass the data. So let me tell you, here I'm going to declare one more variable, closed. So let me copy this one, and in this directive let me use the property binding. So let me refresh the screen. See now, if I'm clicking this cancel button, closed using directive. If I'm clicking this closed using the function. Okay, these are the basic properties in our MAT-DIALOG component, and let me tell you two more properties. First one is the enter animation duration, 1000 milliseconds. So now if I'm clicking the pop-up, so it is coming slowly. It is a kind of animation thing, but when I'm closing, it is closed immediately. That closing also we can apply the animation exit animation duration, and we have to provide the second. So let me provide the same 1000 milliseconds. See, it is opened slowly, and the closing also it is slowly it is closed. Okay, so now we have seen around 5 properties. The first one is width, then height I removed, enter animation duration, exit animation duration, and transferring the data using this data option. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, let me do some design it here, and here we can apply the reactive forms. Okay, so inside this MAT-DIALOG content we can have all of our controls one by one. So here I'm going to use this MAT form field, MAT input. Okay, and the MAT label, name, email, phone, and status only. So there are just 4 fields. Okay, the code is the auto generated one. So name, email, phone, and the final one is the MAT checkbox. Let me save this one. We can command one of the button. So instead of that, I'm going to include one more new button, and the text is save. So let me save this one. Okay, we are getting some error. So it should be labeled. Okay, see now all the controls are coming in the same line. So here I'm going to include one custom class. So let me take the class from our form design component. We can include in our form component also, I mean our pop-up component also. See now it is somewhat better, and if you want reduce the width also it is possible. So already I have provided 50%, so let me change this into 40%. Very simple form design. Okay, and next let me define our reactive forms. So here we can inject our form builder first. So this dot builder and group. So fields, the first one is name. So this dot builder control The default value is empty. So here I'm not going to take much time. We can complete very quickly because the main intention of the video is all about the pop-up. For this one is for is active, so the default value is true. So next let me copy this one, and in our pop-up, so let me include one form control, one form element. So there I'm going to have this form group and one submit event. The function name is save user, and let me define it here. And let me cut our form. We can move at the end. So whatever content we have, that actually we have moved into the form. That's it. Okay. The design point of view, we don't have any issue. Next, in all the controls, we can use the form control name. First one is name, and the second one is email, and the third one is phone. Okay. So the final one is status. So let me save this one, and in the save button we can include one console.log. This dot my form dot value. Okay, test t18.com and some numbers. So if I'm clicking save, see we are able to get all the values. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, in our service side we can define one post function. So already we have this get method. Save customer. We can remove all these items. Any. And this is the post method. We are not going to return anything, and it is having one more parameter, that is our data. That's it. And here I can create one more get method. So the return type, everything we can remove. Get customer by code. Okay, these two are the function. First one is for the save, and the second one is for retrieving the data. That's it. So next let me go to my popup component. So here what I'm going to do, let me call our services. I believe it is not injected. Yeah. Let me inject this one. So this dot service save customer, and the value so let me subscribe this one. So once it is saved, we have to close this pop-up. That's it. And the pop-up is closed. We have to refresh our data. So the data is loaded in our table component. So there, what we supposed to do? So here already we have this function. Okay. So let me create one more new function. Load customer. So whatever service call is there, we can move to our load customer. So first in this constructor we are calling, and the same function we can call once our pop-up is closed. Okay. Now let me create one more new record. Okay, now let me create one new record. rnetting.com and some numbers. Okay. So once I'm clicked, see the pop-up is closed, and see we have the count is increased. Now it is the 12 record. So let me create one more new record. See the count is 13. So if I'm checked here, okay, see we have the newly created records. Okay, so that means our post method is working. And next, what I'm going to do when I'm clicking this edit button, so I'm plan to open the same pop-up. We can load the existing data. So that is my plan. For doing this implementation, first let me go to my pop-up component. Okay, so let me refresh this one, and here we can have one function set pop-up data, and and the input is code, and here we can call our service, and the method name is get customer by code. Okay, and we can pass this input as the code. Let me subscribe this one, and here we can declare one more variable, any. So let me format this one. So after that we can set the values. Okay, so this dot my form set value. So this is the kind of object. First one is name, so the value is name. The similar way email, so this dot edit data dot email. Now phone, and finally status. So this dot edit data dot status. That's it. So let me save this one, and from our parent component, so already we have this edit button, right? So there we can include one function edit customer. Sorry. So the click event and edit customer, and here we can pass this element.id. So let me define this function. See this console, I'm able to get this ID. Okay, so next what we can do, so in this pop-up we can pass two parameters. The first one is code, and the second one is title. So in this data we are passing this title, and we can pass the code also. Okay, there are two values. I'm passed it here, and in our edit customer function we can call this open popup function. First I'm passing this code, and the title is edit customer. Okay, let me format this one. Yes, but the same way I'm going to have add customer. We can call the same popup function. So instead of the code we can give default value 0, and the title is add customer. Okay, and in our button, so already I'm binded as the open popup, so instead of that we can use this add customer. And again let me get back to our popup side. So here I'm checking one condition, this dot input data dot code double equal to 0 or else greater than 0. If this is the scenario, I can call this function code. So let me save this one. See now, so if I'm clicking this Janus, so we have loaded all the records. Okay, so if I'm trying with some other records, okay, the data are loaded fine. And the similar way, if I'm clicking this add button, the empty pop-up is opened. Okay, so this is the way our MAT-DIALOG control is working in our Angular application. So still, if you have any doubts or clarification, please post in the comment box, and also please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching.